Alright, so this video is going to go over 3 separate problems that we will discuss. The first one, number 17, is over a period of 1 week, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the Dow Jones, which is what I'm going to say for the rest of the time, did the following. On Monday, the Dow Jones went up 2.5. On Tuesday, it went down 12.1. On Wednesday, it went up on Tuesday 12.1. It went down on Wednesday by 4.7. It went up by 0.8 on Thursday, and it went down on 5.4% on Friday. And what we have to do is find what's the percent increase or decrease of the Dow Jones over the entire week. All right, and they want us to round our answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. So what we're going to do is that first we have to turn all these into decimals. So the 12 turns into 0.121. This one turns into 0.025. 0.8 turns into 0.008. 4.7 turns into 0.047. And 5.4 turns into 0.054. Now, if it increases, we're going to add 1 to it. So as we see, the ones above, okay, the ones, this one, and this one, all increase that percentage. So we're going to add 1 to each one. So it's going to be 1.121, 1.025, and 1.008. Okay. And now the ones that decrease, we're going to subtract 1 from them. So the first one's going to be 0.946 and 0.953. And then all you're going to do is multiply all those together. And when you multiply those together, we end up getting about 1.04418. And then they want to know what's the percent increase or decrease. So you subtract 1. So you subtract 1 from this. And then you turn it into the percentage, which would be about 4.4%. So it's about 4.4% increase. So what you're going to do is that you're going to turn all those increases and decreases into decimals, add 1 if it increases, subtract 1, or you're going to subtract it from 1 if it decreased, and then you multiply them together to find the increase or decrease over the time. And if it's over 1, it's an increase. If it's under 1, it's a decrease. All right? Pretty simple. Now, 23. 23 is using simple interest. And what we have here is that suppose you bought a bond for $10,000 and it's 5% simple interest every year. When you cash the bond, you have to pay a federal tax of 15% on just the interest, not the whole thing, just the interest. And it wants to know after 5 years, how much would you net? So how much would you gain from it? So first thing we have to do is just plug this into the simple interest formula to see how much will we have after 5 years. So we take our 10,000 and we're going to multiply it by 1 plus 0.05 times 5. And that gets us around 12,500. Okay. So now how much did we gain in the interest? Because that's what we have to take out of our federal tax. Subtract 1,000, I'm a step ahead of myself, which gets us about 2,500, 2,500. So $2,500 was what we gained. So now we have to find our 15% of that. Subtract it by 0.15. Gets us approximately 375. So this is what's taken out. So that's what the government takes. All right. So now it wants to know how much did we gain? How much did we net from this? So now you take how much interest you gained and subtract out that 375. When you subtract it out, you end up getting about a $2,125. And that would be your net for it. All right. So that's how much you gained in that 5 years. After the taxes are taken out and after you weigh the 5 years, you gained about $2,125. All right. So that's simple interest. You have a couple others that look like that. Now, compound interest is this last one, number 35. So suppose you deposit $3,420 into an account on January 1st, 2005, and the saving account pays 6 5/8% annually for the interest. The interest is credited to the account on the last day of the year, so the 31st of December. So every 31st of December, that's when the interest is added. Now, on January 1st, 2007, you withdraw $1,500, and January 1st, 2008, you withdraw $1,000. So it wants to know in 2011, how much will you have? In January 1st, 2011, how much money will be in the account if your only withdrawals were in 2007 and 2008? Now, what you have to do here is that you have to break this problem up into separate problems. The first thing we have to do is find from 2005 to 2007. We have to find how much money was gained, or what was the account at the time, January 1st, 2007. So if we count the Decembers between January 1st, 2005, January 1st, 2007, we got December 31st of 05 and of 06. So that means we've got 2 years. So now we're going to use our compound formula. So we take our principal and we multiply it by 1 plus the percentage, which would be 0.6625. And then we take it to the power of how many? So the first one would be 2. And after we calculate this, we would square this number first and then multiply 3,420, and we get $3,888.16. We subtract out our $1,500 because that's how much we withdrew, giving us now $2,388.16. Now we're going to go on to the next one, which now we take this 2388.16 and we're going to multiply it by the same amount, 0.6625. And how many years is it from January 1st, 07 to January 1st, 08? How many December 31st did we pass? 1. So we take it to the first power. And now we have $2,546.37.376. And what we have with this is now we withdrew $1,000, so we took out $1,000, giving us $1,546.37, basically 37 cents. We multiply that by our compound interest again, and now how many December 31st did we pass from 08 to 11, which would be 08, 09, 010, which would be 3 of them. And we calculate that, and we get our new total of about $1,874.53. So we have about $1,874.53. And that's how much we would have after that with the withdrawal. So what you have to do with these whenever you have withdrawals or deposits is that you have to break the problem up into whenever those occur. Because again, when you're taking a compound interest, it changes over time. Because the more money that's added is the more money you gain on the interest. So you're going to have to break it up and find exactly how much it was when you start depositing or withdrawing, because that changes. All right. So you break it up into the amounts. All right. Hopefully these helped.